The inventory for probate, going through an estate going through probate can be one of the most confusing and challenging parts. I mean, no one really wants to go through probate. It's when someone has passed away and you are the executor or the administrator and you're responsible for settling and handling the affairs. And one of the tasks is sharing an accurate description of the property that is still in the estate at the time of the person's passing and knowing the actual property value. And this can be very challenging when when the person has either a complicated estate or even sometimes when they don't and there's several pieces of property in there. So we're going to take a look at that today. What's going on? I'm Courtney Rollins with Estate Pro Service, the host of the Life and Transitions Experts podcast, YouTube channel, and Facebook group. Feel free to join any of those spaces. I would love for you to hit a review, give us a review, give us a like, a subscribe. We'd love for you to join the community. It helps us help the algorithm reach more people and help more people who are going through this in the Life and Transitions Experts channel or space. We are professionals committed to helping people through some of their biggest transitions in life, and definitely going through probate is one of those. So I'm actually working with several folks, and one person in particular set with yesterday to help them figure out how do they get the value of the house, the other pieces of property, specifically house, boat, and cars. So I figured I'd put some content together to share. And if you have any content or questions that you would like covered, I'm not an attorney or a financial advisor. I'm not giving legal advice here, but I can share my experience and go find the information or share the experience that I have, and hopefully it'll be helpful to folks. So let's take a look. If you are listening, definitely check out the YouTube channel. I have some slides that accompany this that can support some of the things and put some visuals to what we're talking about here. So let's take a look. How do you find the value of the house, boat, and car for probate inventory in North Carolina? All right, so probate, again, just a reminder, it is the legal process of settling affairs of someone who's passed away. If someone passes away with property in their name or if they have debt in their name, there has to be a legal way for that to happen. Even if there's a will, a last will and testament, that serves as the suggested legal guide for distributing the assets and dealing with the debt in the property. When there's not a will, then the laws of that state will take over and you have to administer the estate. It can be a challenging thing for the people who are personal representatives, the fiduciary who's responsible. Again, we're trying to help as much as we can. All right, so number one thing that you can do is seek professional appraisals. Now, this is going to cost, but you can hire someone to appraise the actual property and to give an accurate amount at the time of death. This could be the boat, the car, the personal property, the perhaps there are guns that are left behind, but it does give you an opinion, and they will give you documentation that you can use for the inventory, specifically in North Carolina. And they base it off of the condition, which is helpful. That is a very specific, very accurate way of getting the actual value. Number two, one that is a little quicker, is not as accurate, but is just as valid, is using some online platforms. For instance, deputy clerks in Durham County, North Carolina, I know they will take the Z estimate, and that, even though it's not always accurate for real property like houses and land, it is something that can be used. You can also go online and access Kelley Blue Book for cars. Same thing with boats. So those are things that you generally can use, but you have to make sure that it's set at the time of the person's passing. If you have their stock and things of that nature, you can, this isn't really about stock, but you can reach out and you can go back and see on the date of the that stock closing business day, how much was the property, or not property, but the stock worth at that time. Have that printed out and include that in the inventory. You can also check, this is specific for property, of course, but check with a real estate agent. They can give you an assessment of the property value at that time using some of the data and tools that they have access to. All right. You could also use the county tax assessment. Again, you will have to make sure that it is for that specific date that the person passed away. It may not always reflect the current market value, but it can give you what the county is saying that they're assessing the value is. And one tip the cost in North Carolina for filing inventory is whatever the total amount of the assets are worth. You multiply that times 0.004, and so I'm not giving you advice either way, but if you are finding property values and different ones on that same date, one's higher, one's lower, you have to take that into account. The lower cost is going to decrease the amount cost of filing. The larger, of course, increases that amount, but that's just something to keep in mind when you're doing that. So you may want to think about that when you decide which source to use. For boats and houses, you can check out guidebooks. Again, I did say Kelley Blue Book, which is online for cars, but you can actually access them in print form as well. There are boat value guides as well. I had to look for several because the gentleman, the estate that I was helping with, had a boat, 2017 Sun Tracker that needed to be assessed or find the value for. So there are books, boat value guides out there that you can use as well. They can be helpful resources to when you estimate the time. But again, all of this has to be accurate to the time of the passing. You can also use historical sales data if you have access to those things. A real estate agent would have access to that when it comes to cars and things of that nature. Some online sources would have access to that, and you could gauge it based on the market value. So, for instance, for houses, there's something called comparable sales when it's just a residential property, which means it's 4 units or less. And so they'll look at the time of death, they'll look at the condition of the property, as well as what are other properties in similar condition that are like that property, 3-bed, 2-bath, same, bananas to bananas, tomatoes to tomatoes. What are they selling for, and get pretty much the average of that to give a more accurate opinion. This last one is similar to getting an appraisal, but you can get other expert opinions, particularly if it's outside of the role of real estate or cars and houses. You may cars, you may get a car expert to take a look. Or again, I mentioned guns. A lot of times people leave guns, and they could be of certain value, particularly if they're older, or antiques or things of that nature. Finding someone who can show their expert opinion and give you that evaluation can support and help you. Now, this is something that sometimes trips people up, but know that you can get this done. If you want support, I'm more than willing to sit down and help you fill out the inventory form for North Carolina's estate, or point you in the right direction. As you see right here, I'm like the hub right there in the middle. Some of these services I'm directly involved with, as far as me putting the hat on. Other ones, there are people on my team that I can point you out to, and make sure that you are getting the best service that you can to make this challenging time in your life go a little smoother. If you do want to sit and talk to me, there's my information right there, Courtney at estateproservice.com. You can visit estateproservice.com to see some of the service provide. Feel free to check out our reviews. We're very proud of them. And know that if you're not in Durham County, North Carolina, I'm more than willing to support you, help you, even outside the state. I have a network of a nationwide group of vetted estate professionals that may be able to serve and help you. If you want to sit down and have a conversation, maybe you're a professional and you want to be able to serve people this way, or you've been serving folks this way, we can be a part of each other's journey. Jump on the Calendly.com/estate pro service. We'd love to sit down and chat with you, and perhaps we can see how we can, again, help make our services even better for everyone involved. That would be awesome. All right. And I think that's it for today. All right, so this is Courtney Rollins at estateproservice.com, the Life in Transitions Expert Podcast, LITE. Let your light shine. Cheers.